In section 10.4, we look at formulas. So a formula is just a recipe for doing a certain type of calculation. When we replace the variables in an equation with numbers and calculate the result, we are evaluating the formula. So let's consider the formula m equals 1 over 5t. Suppose it takes 10 seconds for the sound of thunder to reach you after you have seen a flash of lightning. How far away did the lightning strike? So t in this case is going to be the time in seconds. So what I was given in the equation, or in the problem, was t equals 10 seconds. And so plugging that into my formula, we get 1/5 times 10. But remember, when we're multiplying fractions, we multiply across the top and bottom. And so we end up with 1 times 10, which is 10, over 5 times 1, which is 5. And 10 divided by 5 is 2. And this is going to be 2 miles. Let's look example number 2. The cost C of operating a microwave over 1 year is given by the formula C equals W times H times 365 over 1000 times E, where W is the wattage, H is the number of hours used per day, and E is the energy cost per kilowatt hour. Find the cost of operating a 1500 watt microwave oven for 0.25 hours per day if the energy cost is 13 cents per kilowatt hour. So we just want to plug this into the appropriate places. So the 1500 is going to be our W. The 0.25 is going to be our H. And the 0.13 is going to be E. And so plugging this in, we have 1500 times 0.25 times 365, all on the top. On the bottom we have 1000, and then we want to multiply by 0.13 once we have simplified. And so when I multiply 1500 times 0.25 times 365, I get 136,875. And we're going to divide that by 1000. Well, when I divide it by 1000, I get 136.875 times 0.13. Let's go ahead and round this because we are talking about money. We're going to round this to the nearest cent. So it's going to cost $17.79. And that's how much it will cost for a year. Now what we also do is we can solve formulas for different variables in the formula. So solving for Z, we have H equals 1/4 Z. So what this means is we want to have Z completely by itself when we're done. So this needs to be by itself. So to undo the multiplication of 1/4, we multiply by the reciprocal, which in this case is going to be 4 over 1. And what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. Well, 4 over 1 is just 4. And so on the right-hand side, The 1/4 and the 4/1 cancel, and we're left with just z, and on the left we have 4h. What about solving for t when d is equal to rt? So t needs to be by itself. So to undo the multiplication, we can divide both sides by r to get t by itself. The r's end up canceling, and we get that d over r is equal to t. Six y equals 3x, and we want to solve for y, which means we need to have y by itself on the left. So to undo the multiplication, we're going to divide both sides by 6. And so that cancels on the left. We get just y, which is what we were looking for. But 3/6 we can simplify to 1/2, and we still have the x. ax plus b equals c, and we want to solve for x. So we need to have x by itself. So this is the same as what we were doing in the previous sections. We're still using the multiplication and addition principle. So we need to undo the addition first. So let's go ahead and subtract b from both sides so that we can undo the plus b. And so it ends up canceling, and we get ax equals c minus b. Well, we want to get x by itself, so to undo the multiplication, we can divide both sides by a. And so it cancels on the left, and we get that x equals c minus b all over a. by equals ax, and we want to solve for y. So we can undo the multiplication by dividing both sides by b. And so it cancels on the left, and we get y equals ax over b. And so all we were doing is manipulating the formula for a different variable. So a formula solving procedure: to solve a formula for a given letter, you identify the letter and multiply on both sides to clear fractions or decimals if it's needed. You'll collect like terms on each side if necessary. You'll get all the terms with the letter to be solved for on one side and everything else on the other. You'll collect like terms again if necessary and then solve for the letter in question. So let's solve for r when c is equal to 2 pi r. This is actually the formula for the circumference c of a circle with a radius of r. So the goal is to have r by itself. Well, we need to undo the multiplication that's going on the right-hand side, and we can divide both sides by 2 pi. And so on the right, the 2's cancel and the pi's cancel. and we end up with c over 2 pi is equal to r. In the last one, let's solve for little a when capital A equals a plus b plus c over 3. This is the formula for the average a of three numbers a, b, and c. So we want to get the little a that's in the numerator by itself. Well, the first thing that we can do is get rid of the fractions that are going on here. And so to do that, we multiply by the least common multiple, which is 3. And what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. And on the right, it ends up canceling. So we have 3 capital A equals A plus B plus C. And remember, we're solving for little a, so we need to undo the b and the c. So let's go ahead and start with the b. I'm going to subtract b from both sides to undo the plus b. And so that ends up canceling. We have 3 capital A minus b equals a plus c. And then I need to undo the plus c with the minus c. And so that ends up canceling the c and the negative c. And we get 3 capital A minus b minus c is equal to little a.